Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got a clip here, and I'm going to let you hear the foolishness. It's complete and utter foolishness. But I'm going to let you hear it. And then I have a couple of points that I want to make. So without further ado, let me let you hear this craziness.
But he knew what it was up front.
Right.
He ended up going broke. I have expectations. When you don't meet my expectations, I move the hell on.
You left your husband because he went through a little financial struggle.
And did.
At any point in time, did you feel that love should have kept you there?
I feel like he didn't love me because if he did, he wouldn't have went through a financial struggle. A man that loves a woman don't go through hard times.
I don't think.
Left my husband. He knew what it was.
Now, the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because I believe it was last week we talked about the inflammatory, in my eyes, inflammatory comments on another video where a woman was talking about marriage is sex work. Married women are sex workers. And the reason why it was so off-putting to the wives and the lionesses that are married is because we would never. See, here's my thing. Just because some guys are marrying whores and giving the whore a title as a wife doesn't make wives be whores. That's why it's upsetting. That's why it's triggering, because a wife would never. We would never. There's no such thing as we were doing okay. My husband went through some type of financial struggle, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter really why. He's having a little bit of a rough time. And now all of a sudden he's not worth anything. And the marriage has to be broken over a couple of dollars. That's crazy. But see, when you have guys that will marry a whore, because she said he knew in the beginning, he knew what it was. So you want this whore, you want this prostitute that you want to keep on tap, which is what it is. You know that she's not a wife. You know she's not wife material just by the way that she's behaving, just by the way that she's even operating. Everything revolves around a dollar and how much money you make and this, that, and a third. Never stopping to think that life happens. Life happens to people. Just because you have it today doesn't mean that you have it tomorrow. It's plenty of people that have had millions of dollars at one point in time in their life. And then the next thing you know, they are dirt broke. They are dirt poor. Okay. And maybe they got sick. Maybe they lost their weight to make an income, whatever the case may have been. So just because you got it don't mean you always have to have it. Because again, life happens. Now, some people are able to generate money and they can consistently do that and they never go broke again or whatever the case may be. Many people go broke again. Sometimes they go broke and have to come back. Excuse me. Sometimes they go broke, like they'll have a lot of money, something will happen, they lose it, and then they have to rebuild. Again, I've heard of plenty of people having to do that. And all throughout that, if the woman that you married is a wife, not just a chick you married, just because you walked her down somewhere, put a ring somewhere, signed a paper somewhere, that don't make this woman loyal. It don't make her love you. It don't make her nothing. If that's not what she is to begin with, that's not what she's gonna be. Putting her in your house is like putting a viper in your house. That's what it is. Just because she look good, just because she ain't always going to be looking like that, just like you may or may not always have your money or whatever it was that attracted her. Okay? So she was attracted to his money to begin with. That she said that at the start. He knew what it was. I have expectations, i.e., he wants the extended girlfriend experience. And a hoe like this, she'll take somebody marrying her to maintain a lifestyle. She'll do that for a little while. She'll play that role for a little while. Now, she's not going to do any of the things that you want a wife to do because she's not a wife. She didn't even enter your life like that. Here's the deal. Going for these so-called bad bees, let me talk to the dudes. Let me explain something to you about that. A bad bee is not a wife. She's not. There's a very stark difference between a bad bee and a lioness that is pretty. Getting a good-looking woman, a pretty woman, a woman that is aesthetically pleasing to you, and she is a lioness that you marry. That is not a baddie. It's not a baddie. Baddies have this whole thing going on, and you know them when you see them. These women are not coming around you to be traditional. They're not trying to be lionesses. They're not trying to do none of that. They are going for the man with the most amount of money in their reach that they can get to. All of these chicks can't get to the entertainers and the athletes and da. Sometimes the blue collar man and make more than $150,000 a year. That's where she's at. You can even be white collar doing it or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. Okay? She's going to be nice to you. That's why I be saying nice don't mean nothing. She's going to be charming. She's going to be nice. She's going to have all of her manners together, and, you know, she's going to be so dainty and so quote unquote feminine and all this other foolishness. But what you got to think about is, if this woman is so awesome, why she ain't got no man? Why is she available? Why is she in her late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s? Why is she available? No man, you know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that keep telling you that they have done had all these relationships. Yeah, well, my last relationship was 3 years. My other relationship lasted 2.5 years. You know what I'm saying? She might as well come clean. Like, I had a sugar daddy for a couple of years. Then I switched over and had another sugar daddy. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. These women are not marriage material. They're here for a good time, not a long time. They're not here. If you stupid enough to marry her, she'll walk down the aisle with you. She will definitely walk down the aisle with you, because that's another flex for her. Oh, I got married. I was capable of getting married. Okay, this is why they take such pride in, oh, I was proposed to. It's these chicks. I was proposed to, but you know, I didn't accept it, and because sometimes they not ready to quote unquote get married. Getting married messes up bad because they may have more than one guy that they finessing for money. Okay, so these little baddies that y'all trying to go for to marry them, you almost getting what you getting, because these are not wives and they don't present themselves as such. They'll talk that game with you. If you talking about, oh, I'm looking to get married, oh, me too. You know, they'll play the game with you. They'll play with you. They will play. They will help you waste your time. They'll help you waste your resources. They'll help you waste your money. They'll help you do that, because that's what they're looking for. You're paying her for her presence. You are paying her for her time as a prostitute. You are paying her. She's just like an escort or something. And my thing was, just because some man somewhere marry a sex worker doesn't make wives sex workers. And that's what was triggering to me. Because a wife does not have this kind of mentality. Oh, my husband hit a hard time or something like that, and it's time for me to jet. Because then he said, at any point, do you think love would have kept you there? She don't love him. She never did. No, love should not have kept her there, because how love gonna keep you somewhere and you don't love that person? How love about to keep you somewhere and you don't love them? I felt, and then you heard the foolishness that came after, the delusion that came after. I didn't feel like he loved me because a man that love a woman don't go through hard times. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? How stupid do you sound? So if you single as a single hyena working and you hit a hard time, you don't love yourself, I'm just saying. This is the true difference between a wife and a married hyena. A hyena that somebody figured to give the highest title to, and I don't know why. I'll be trying to figure out what is hyenas doing to get married, because lionesses is putting it all on the line to get married. I know for a fact hyenas not. So what are they doing? This is why it's triggering, because when that is the reason why real wives are not sex workers, is because if ever that exchange that's supposedly making us be hoes breaks down, we don't actually stop being married. So when the exchange of quote unquote being taken care of or the money, that actually stops, we don't think to not be a wife now. As soon as you don't pay a whore, she's done with the job. The job is done. Job is over, because every you got to pay me for every moment that I'm even here. And once I realize you can't pay, I'm gone, because come on. Wives don't do that. If ever the exchange stops, the marriage does not stop. The duties do not stop. The vows cannot now be disregarded. That's the difference. And just because prostitution and sex work is a bastardized form of a marriage doesn't now make marriage be that. Because that lady on the other video was quick to say wives are sex workers, but nobody would say, well, sex workers are wives, because the exchange is the same. It was quick to denigrate a married woman, but not raise the value of the sex worker. You see how that worked? Nobody says, oh, the whores are wives, because they do the same thing wives do. Because there's an exchange, supposedly, of money for sex. Supposedly that's the exchange in the marriage, which is not. So nobody went around to say, well, sex workers aren't really sex workers. They're actually wives, because they're doing the same thing that wives are doing, and the exchange is the same. Nobody said that, but it was quick to be said that, oh, wives are sex workers because the exchange is the same. Just because you're engaging in a bastardized form of what I do doesn't make me wrong. You're wrong. You're engaging in a bootleg of what I do. So that don't make me have to justify what I do. It make you have to justify what you do. Why are you doing a bootleg of what I'm doing? And then now you want to cast aspersions on what I'm doing, but you're doing a bootleg version of it. This is why I was triggering. Because hoes never have shared space with me, ever. Under no circumstance or condition. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.